I got asked a question about what I do in my Dungeons and Dragons 5e games when it comes to line of sight, and just wanted to show off Roll20 and kind of how I use it for line of sight and dynamic lighting in my game. In order to do this, you have to have the Plus account for it. It's $5 a month, and it comes with kind of just a little bit of an upgrade over the base account. Raises your storage limit, but really the dynamic lighting feature that I'm going to show you is kind of the best bang for your buck here. So I'm going to go over to my campaign. Uh, this is my campaign within Roll20. I'm going to go ahead and go to the page toolbar and go over to the town that I made earlier today. So this is my town, and you're looking at it from the GM's perspective right now. Um, right now I'm on the dynamic lighting layer, and that's why you can see all these weird shapes drawn. So basically whatever you see drawn, that's going to be walls within the game that light cannot pass through, and also players cannot pass through. So I'm going to show you my two characters that I have here. In order to do that, we got to go over here to the object and token layer. Zoom in so you can see him. So this is Theric here. Theric here is a dragonborn within my campaign. You have two options here when you double click on the token. You have basic and advanced. If you go to advanced, you'll see this emits light token, or emits light option. You have three blanks here. The first one is how far out the light's going to go. And this is, instead of thinking it as light, think of it as kind of like player view. Right now I have it to where he can only see 10 feet. So if it were pitch black outside, he can only see 10 feet around him. And then I'm going to say that it's going to start dimming. That 10 feet is going to start dimming at him. So as soon as the light appears, it's going to be dim for him. So he's not going to be able to see very much at all. I have has sight clicked so that it actually enforces these rules. And then all players see light is what you would turn on if you have things like torches and things like that in the game that you want everyone to be able to see. So if I click on a character and I press Control L, it's going to let me look as if I were from that player's perspective. So this is all Theric here would be able to see. So as we move up here, you can see that there's a torch over here, and that's why Theric here is able to see what he's able to see. But if we move away from that torch area, you can see that can't really see a lot. This building over here is only visible because I haven't done the dynamic lighting on it. I'm going to show you how to do that later on in the video. So yeah, go ahead and show you the other character that we're going to use. So this is Nagun. Nagun is a homebrew class race that we use in my campaign. He's a werebore, and in my campaign, werebores have dark vision. So it's going to emit light starting from Nagun going out 70 feet. At -5 feet, it's going to begin being seen as dim light. How to do that in order to make the 60 feet work on Roll20. I'm not really sure why, just what we had to do in order to make it actually display correctly. So if I Control L on Nagun, you can see that he has a great deal more that he could actually see. As he's moving around the map, you can see that he has dark, kind of dim vision out really far. You can see over here, this is where I actually did dynamic lighting, so you can see the walls of this building, but you can't actually see into the building. Alright, so let's look at the actual menus for this. If you go to your page toolbar up at the top, go to lighting town. This is the map that we're currently on. I can hit page settings and scroll down, and I can see this is my dynamic lighting portion of the settings. So I'm going to enable it, and I'm going to enforce line of sight. So players' line of sight is set by what tokens they can control. All right, that goes back to the actual line of sight we set on the tokens. Right now for my game, I have all players can control all tokens, so everybody's going to be able to see the perspective of everyone else, and we'll see that as we get the tokens closer together. Update on drop, that's going to stop people from being able to move their tokens around and kind of get sneak peeks at what's going on. I'll go ahead and I'll turn that off real quick and show you kind of how it can be abused. So Theric here over here, Control L. Now as I move Therakir's token, you see how it kind of lights up with him. So that player could be like, oh, I'm going to go over here, or no, maybe I'm going to go over here because he saw something bad up there. Whereas if we go up and we turn that setting back on, and I go to move Therakir, it's not going to actually update his vision until I let go of that mouse button. So he has to commit to that movement. The other settings we have here are restrict movement. What that does is, let's click off and show you the dynamic lighting I have set up on this building. So here you can see the blue lines, which represent the outline of the house, and then you have the doors are the yellow. So right now, if Therakir was to try to walk through this wall, it wouldn't let him do that. So let's try that for a second. Grab Therakir, Control L. So if I were looking through his vision, I'm going to try to walk through the wall. You can see that he stopped. Now you can see that I moved the door up here earlier. So if I was going to actually try to go through that area, did I move it back? Yeah, I moved it back. Let's try to move this door out of the way. That's why we do doors separately, so that you can just move them out of the way for your players. Go back to objects and tokens. Control L on Therakir. He can now see into that building because I moved the door, and it's no longer blocking his line of sight, and I can move through this doorway. So I will say that the one downfall of dynamic lighting is if I take this doorway and let's say I only cover to there. I go back and I try to move Therakir around. You can see the hole there, and if I finagle this, I might, be able to get him into the house. So you got to make sure that when you do your doors, you actually cover that entire area. It's still pretty cool. Cuts off his view. Pretty nice. Stops players from moving where they shouldn't be able to move. And then we have global illumination. What global illumination does is it makes it look as if it's daylight outside. So if I click global illumination, hit OK, I go back to Therakir. Now he can see really far because it's daylight outside. You can still see that this area is blocked off because I put that doorway there. Go ahead and go back to the dynamic lighting, and I take that door and I move it out of the way. Go back, I pick up Therakir. I move him inside. You can see that he can see everything because it's always illuminated. So really, if you just want line of sight and you're not really worried about darkness or things like that, you can play with that global illumination turned on. But I enjoy having it off, so I think it kind of shows, especially nighttime, shows exactly what the players can see, and it kind of hampers their vision a little bit. Because this is a little bit more eerie, because Therakir doesn't really know what he's walking into. So yeah, let's go and show you exactly how to do this. So I went ahead and I put 2 mobs in this house over here, right? I just dropped them out of the standard mobs that I'm able to get from the compendium for Roll20. I can go over when you pull these mobs over, they already are set up with everything that they can see. So this guy does not have dark vision, so you can see that he doesn't really have anything up here, right? Whereas if I go down to the spider, go over 60 feet, it can see. You have to click the has sight button, but that'll be so I can control it and show you exactly what that spider can see, right? So we're going to go ahead and turn dynamic lighting on for this house, and it's super easy. You just go up here to the dynamic lighting layer, and then you're going to go down and draw basically a polygon. I like to use like this really bright blue, and then for the walls I like to make them thin because I try to get right on this little border in between the outer and inner wall. It's gonna kind of be able to see the wall from both sides. So first thing I like to do is I like to go around the outside, right? And if you have windows, you can always make breaks in this so that your players can go up and look through the windows. I have a door here, so I'm going to right click and then start after the door. I'm just left clicking kind of in the middle of both of these walls. That way, like I said, you can see that wall from either side. Let's get to the other side, right click, I'm going to go ahead and do all these dividers here. Yep. And this one. A little one there. Kind of too close for it to count there. That's fine. It's not really going to make a big difference. Yeah. Alright, so that's turned on. Let's go ahead and make our doorways. I'm going to change this color to yellow. And I like to use a thicker line for the doorway. Remember how I said you had to start kind of overlapping to ensure the players can't fit through. So I'm going to go ahead and draw from there to here. I'm going to put this little flag on it. That way it's easier to grab. Got that tip from Taking 20. If you haven't seen his videos about Roll20, they're awesome. Going to do the same thing on the other side. And yeah, you can see this lit up area. That's because the spider has dark vision, so it can actually see in that area. Let's go back to our objects and tokens. Gonna go grab Therakir over here. Gonna go from his perspective. I'll move him along this route, being extra cautious. I've ran into a door. I'm gonna ask the DM if I can go ahead and try to break down that door. I'll do a strength check, and let's say that Therakir passes his strength check. Go ahead and take that door and move it out of his way, simulating that it's broken. And gonna go ahead and go back to the object token layer. Now I can see that that doorway is open. I'm gonna go inside and make my way through the hallway. When I get to the end of the hallway, Therakir really doesn't know what's going on. He could go up to the north or down to the south. But at the same time, what's happening is if I look from the line of sight of this spider, let's say it's a little further over here. That spider is now able to see Therakir. But Therakir has no idea that the spider is there. So as a DM, you can kind of see what your mobs are able to see if they're surprised and things like that. If you're really wanting to do, a game that's more survival based, you can always really enforce that point of view vision. So let's say 150 degrees. And the token's backward on this one, but you still be able to see that now Therakir can only see in this direction. So he actually has to turn that token in order to see those mobs that are popping up. So it kind of adds another layer of kind of fear to the situation. But for my games, I feel like it's a little bit too much to manage, so I just go with the normal 360 degree. So yeah, that's how dynamic lighting works. I like it, and hopefully you do as well.